then, but in 1962, when I was asked first to write a book about computer programming, almost nothing was known about combinatorial algorithms. And so my friend in Norway asked me some years later, how did you ever think in 1962 that you were going to, to even include a chapter about combinatorial algorithms, because almost nothing was known at that time. The idea of this explosion, by contrast, by 1975, more than 50% of the papers in the computer science journals were about combinatorial algorithms. But in 1962, there was nothing. So the reason I put a chapter in 1962, or in my original table of contents of what I'm going to write, was because the few algorithms I knew for combinatoric were the most fun. They're the ones that I enjoyed the most. So now, finally, after all these years, it's finally getting into print with the great love that I've always had for this kind of. These are the problems where a computer has to examine zillions of cases, and where one good idea can save you 10 orders of magnitude in speed and space. So that's the blurb on art of computer programming. Now, Heather, I swear I didn't plant that question. Yeah.
About 3 years ago, you gave a talk at a conference where you got inducted into the Sigma Epsilon Nu about Fibonacci numbers, using that as the base for numerical representation.
Yes.
I was just talking with a fellow about that a couple days ago, and he was interested in whether anything more had been published about that, your work. We couldn't find anything. Has there been anything?
Okay, so Keith asked me, I had another nice honor that Case started a branch of the Pi Mu Epsilon Math Honorary Society, and they made me an honorary member thing. I gave a talk about some interesting properties of Fibonacci numbers, and the things that I said in that talk are actually over here about page 258 of this. Somewhere around there. So look up Fibonacci numbers and hyperbolic geometry. And if you can't wait, there's a paperback. This volume 4A now, there are 5 paperbacks that are being cobbled together to make the hardback later this year. But all of the but this is a beta test, and people can read the paperbacks, and there's good money. I pay for errors, and so if you're the first to find an error that hasn't been reported, and it might very well be in this very section about the Fibonacci representation of numbers, and so you can get and this would be in what they call fascicle 1 of the series. So you could get that for $50 or something right now from your favorite bookstore. Yeah, see, I'm going on this side now, right? Okay, Cal?
There was a charming movie called Short Circuit. It's about a robot that got struck with lightning, and its mind suddenly became very human. It had emotions, it could learn things. How far are we from producing a system that can do that?
So Al asked, how far are we? How long until what do they call it? Anyway, so yeah, people want to know about the future, right? And I was afraid somebody would ask me about the future. I don't think we're anywhere near a breakthrough where there's going to be anything like this in movies. What seems to be happening gradually is that people are getting more and more things hooked into their bodies that combine with the circuits that we have already. So, I mean, my cousin just got had a new knee pretty good technology in there, and other people, have rather smart things that are working on their heart, whatever. But there are enhancements to all parts of our physical limitations, and that's probably the one that we in no way compared to how we're in our interface to the human nervous system. But as far as knowing what consciousness really is, I think that's just even though neuroscientists are making terrific strides, they're still way far away from getting any conception of what's true. But I'm much better at talking about the past than the future. We have to realize that once in fact there was a reporter who was asking me, she said, Don, what was the most surprising thing that happened during the past 25 years of computer science? I mean, you rattle off and that surprised me that I hadn't figured. And then she said, okay, so what was the least surprising thing that happened? That you got right. And after 5 minutes, I had to give up. I didn't think that I anticipated. So don't ask me about the future. Somebody from the middle?
So, as an undergrad, it seems like, from my perspective at least, I'm finishing soon, researching computer science seems a lot less, I'd say, exciting than it did back in maybe 30 years ago. What I mean by this is that things are very specialized now. We've got this application to this particular special case of this kind of problem. There's no more, there's no like, hey, let's build an operating system kind of thing. There's no, like, all that stuff is nailed down.
Okay, so he's going to work for Google. He followed just graduating on Sunday, right? But you're saying it seems like almost everything's been done already before, and you think back then 30 years. What?
Most of the fun stuff anyway, yeah.
Yeah, it looks anyway. Certainly, a lot has been done, and so it looks like all the horses have been beat to death already, and there's not that much fun left anymore. In a way, that's not the way I would characterize it at all, because I keep finding problems that are rather near the surface that I can explain to a good high school student even, that still need a lot of research to go into. They aren't necessarily as fashionable as some of the other things, but I think as far as the excitement is concerned, they're still there. But it's certainly true that lots of the easy stuff has been creamed away, and we're left with a lot of problems that thousands of smart people have decided that they have other things to do. But still, amazingly, there's also this freshness in the I can't say how long this is going to go on, but I can say that 30 years ago I sort of felt the same as you do now. 30 years ago, what was that? 1980. Okay, I'm thinking, all these theorems about unsolvability have already been taken, have been explored and taken. So what's going on? All the good data structures have been invented. Well, quite a few data structures were. I mean, the VDDs came out in 1986, and there's still. So I don't believe that we've gotten straight anywhere near the bottom of the barrel. Yeah.